Welcome to Spectator Sport, and I'm Zach Roach, along with my main man, Adi Wiley Potter. What's going on, bro?
Nothing much.
Nothing much. We are quarantined right now. We're on Zoom bringing you Spectator Sport, and we got a special guest in the building today. We got my main man, Dante, here to talk Bears draft with us. What's going on, Dante?
Hey, fellas, what's up, man? Glad to be here to talk Bears football with y'all.
Man, appreciate you being on here, man. Appreciate all y'all. Now, let's get into it. The Bears have 2 second-round picks, a 5th round and 2 6th rounds. They made a lot of trades, that came from the Mitch Trubisky trade, Khalil Mack trade, David Montgomery trade. A lot of trades happened. They did some things in free agency. I give them credit. They picked up a tight end, another pass rush, and they picked up some other things, but they still have needs. So, Dante, I'm going to start with you. The Bears have 2 second-round picks. With their first second-round pick, what would you like the Bears go after? Who would you like to see the Bears go after?
I would like to see the Bears go after the best offensive lineman on the board. With Kyle Long retiring, being a long-term guy with the franchise for a long time, that was just kind of unexpected retirement he did. Mitch Trubisky struggling last year, getting sacked 38 times. We definitely need to address the offensive line. So it's going to pretty much come down to whoever's the best on the board. Offensive line is a position you might be able to convert guys to tackle or guard, be able to mix some guys around, but we definitely need to address the offensive line.
I definitely agree with you there, Dante. I agree with you. Offensive line is probably the number one position I go after. You got to look last year with the loss of Kyle Long, and Kyle Long has been falling off for the last couple years. If you look at it, he's injury prone. One thing that Matt Nagy made a mistake going into the season last year, I think, was not starting James Daniel back at guard and putting what's the name at center.
Cody Whitehair.
Yeah, they put Cody Whitehair. They took after he was a 2-time Pro Bowler, they moved him back to guard where he was clearly doing his thing as center. And James Daniel, who came in and got drafted, was clearly great. I mean, I ain't gonna say great, but he was really good at guard his rookie season. They switched it towards the end of the season. They rechanged that, but they still need to fill out the other spot because we can everybody talk about how bad Mitch was, but we have to be able to run the football to help whoever playing quarterback back there, Nick Foles or Mitch. Adi, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, you know what? Offensive guard, Kyle Long retiring. That's a good point. He's gone now. They did sign the guy from the Seattle Seahawks, Jermaine Ifedi. They signed him. He started 60 games in the last 4 years with the Seattle Seahawks, moving back and forth from right tackle and right guard. He's going to go ahead and play right guard for the Bears, take Kyle Long's spot. And I like him in the run game. The Seattle Seahawks was number 6 in the NFL in rushing yards last season. And in 2018, the Seahawks was number 1 in their rushing attack. So he definitely contributed to that. His pass blocking, I don't know so much about. I mean, he needs to improve that with his pass block. But the Bears need to run the ball anyway. You know what I mean? So in the draft, you do have Fresno State's Nitani Muti. He may fall to the Bears. He's like a highly rated guard in the draft, but he may only fall to the Bears because he had injury issues. He tore his Achilles in 2018. He has some foot issues last season. So the Bears will be taking a risk if they take him. You also have Robert Hunt. He went to Louisiana. He's a Louisiana-raised Cajun, small school. So it's really not a lot of options at offensive guard. Just like tight end, those are 2 positions that may be the worst positions in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely. Tight end, you make a great point there because I thought the Bears, they still needed a tight end. I know they picked up Jimmy Graham, but this is just not the draft to draft a tight end. That's just what it comes down to. So, Adi, I'm going to go back to you with this one. The Bears have 2 picks in the second round, and now with that, with the second pick, what do you think the Bears should go after with the second of the second round pick?
Well, you know what? The Bears, wide receiver, they need a number 2 wide receiver to Allen Robinson, okay? I know Anthony Miller is there, but in his 2 years with the Bears, he has only 4 games with over 75 yards, all right? That's not going to cut it. And then we haven't seen enough of the 2018 7th-round pick, Javon Wims, or the 2019 4th-round pick, Riley Ridley. All right, we haven't seen enough of them. So I'm looking at the guy from Notre Dame, 6'4", 230-pound guy, Chase Claypool. He may be available to the Bears. He ran a 4.4 240 at the NFL Combine. He has a huge catch radius, and he has strong, reliable hands. If they can't get him, you're looking at TCU's 5'11", 190-pound Jalen Rager may be available. The guy's explosive off the line of scrimmage. He's a great route runner to get separations from DBs and everything. His numbers did fall off last season because of subpar quarterback play. You got other guys like Baylor's Denzel Mims and Clemson's T. Higgins. If those guys fall to the Bears, they definitely going to scoop them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say tight end, but yeah, I would say wide receiver because Anthony Miller has shown I think he has talent. He definitely has talent, but sometimes he lets his emotions get in the way, I think, too many times sometimes. And he does have an injury history. So we definitely need to fulfill that second slot in that wide receiver next to Allen Robinson. Dante, what do you think? Who should the Bears draft with their second round picks?
Man, with this one, I'm going to go on the other side of the ball to defense. Definitely, I think we need to get the best corner available. We need to get a guy with some length, maybe 6 feet and up. A couple guys I've been looking at who might fall to that second round. Damian Arnett from Ohio State. He played opposite of Jeff Okudah, the guy's going to go first round. He held his own at Ohio State. He's got pretty good size, good ball skills. But just from that point on, because right now on the roster, we got 2 or 3 guys that's kind of going to be battling it out for that number 1 spot. It definitely would be good to bring in a young guy, fresh, with some nice ball skills to battle it out for that starting position at corner.
Absolutely, that's a great point too. The Bears have a very, very strong front seven. I mean, you can argue the only front seven that you probably take over them is the 49ers, but they do have a weak spot over there on that in that corner. Aside of Kyle Fuller, Prince Amukamura last year wasn't good. He kind of fell off last year, so they could scoop up another corner. I wouldn't be mad at that. Also, another strong safety. I know they got Deion Bush. Right now, he's projected to be the starter. I think they need to bring some competition for that because Deion Bush has been with the Bears a few years now, and he really hasn't broke out yet. So that's another position of need. I ask any other positions of need that you might think that it's a possibility.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. Since the Bears had the 4th worst team in the NFL in rushing yards per carry. Okay, the Bears need a running back. Okay, and so I'm looking at LSU's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This guy may be available. He went to LSU. He may be available to the Bears in the second round. The guy showed out against Alabama last season. He had 103 rushing yards, 77 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns against the Crimson Tide. The guy is excellent in evading offenders with juke moves, spin moves, and hesitation out there. The only knock on him is the fact that he's 5'8", and he only ran a 4.60 in the 40 at the NFL Combine, all right? So I like a lot of running backs. You got Wisconsin's Jonathan Taylor. He's a big back. He's 5'10", 220 pounds. The guy has the power to power through piles of men, and he ran a 4.3 940. So he's big and fast. You'll see him busting out 50, 60, 75-yard touchdown runs. DBs can't catch from behind and everything like that. Big playability. He just can't catch the ball out the backfield very well. That's his weakness. But you also have J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State. He's excellent. He has excellent footwork in traffic. And so, but he did run at the NFL Combine. He did not run the 40. He said his ankle was hurt after playing Clemson. But I'll be happy with any one of those 3 guys. Jonathan Taylor is my favorite dude out of those 3. But David Montgomery needs to be challenged. Tariq Cohen is not that much of a backup. And we definitely need somebody to push David Montgomery to step his game up.
Absolutely. I was thinking running back as well too. You know, I mean, I like the one you said about the big bruiser because Jordan Howard left the void. When they let Jordan Howard go, that was a big void for the Bears. He was a guy that can take over the game in the fourth quarter, pound defenses, get them tired and wear them down. And that was the thing the Bears was surely lacking last season. And David Montgomery, they gave up a lot to get Montgomery to get in that third round. He better show and prove. This year, he has to step his game up. Let's move on. There's rumors, Dante, I'm going to start with you. There's rumors that the Bears are looking for a quarterback. They just picked up Nick Foles. They traded a fourth-round pick for him. They still got Mitch, who they traded up to get, gave up a lot. But I think Ryan Pace is on the cusp of giving up on him. We'll see how the battle goes out in camp. What do you think about the Bears possibly taking a quarterback?
Well, I know it's always a possibility with Ryan Pace. You never know what he's gonna do as far as with the quarterback position right now. But I like where we're at right now, actually, with quarterback. I like Nick Foles and Trubisky. I think between the two of them, one of those guys are just gonna kind of break out, separate themselves from each other. And then we actually signed Tyler Bray again, which is another young guy who, he could be a pretty solid backup. I'm not saying that he could be, a franchise quarterback or anything like that, but he's already a pretty young guy. He knows the system. So to go and draft, to move up to try to draft another quarterback, to me right now just wouldn't make sense. Not unless you can get a guy like Tyler Huntley, is a guy from Utah that I like a lot. He's pretty versatile as far as being able to run and pass. He could use a little bit more work on his accuracy, but unless you can get kind of like a super marquee guy at quarterback early, then I would stay away from it because the first round of quarterbacks is going to be loaded. It's going to be about 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the first round that's going to be gone. So.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I was looking at like maybe Jake Fromm maybe being able to fall in the second round or something, but I wouldn't go after quarterback either. Right now, I don't think it's worth it. I think Nick Foles, what we got right now with Nick Foles and Mitch, like you say, I think they're good enough to win the quarter. Well, I know Nick Foles is good enough to win games. So we'll see if Mitch is able to step up to the plate. We'll find out about that. But at least it's a competition. We got Nick Foles, who has won a Super Bowl, has a lot of experience. I think this year, when you win and pay big money for Robert Quinn, I think you get that defense stacked back up. You get to running that football. I think you hold off on quarterback and see. You got to find out. I mean, if maybe Mitch needed this competition because if Mitch strives from this competition, maybe you have your quarterback. But if Mitch doesn't win, then you're going to have to look at quarterback in the next couple years in the draft because Nick Foles is getting older. Adi, what is your thoughts on this?
Well, in the draft, you have Washington's Jacob Eason. That guy has a powerful arm, strong arm, and he has a nice touch on his deep ball. That's Mitch Trubisky's weakness right there. So you can look at him, but I don't think it makes sense to draft a quarterback in the second round just for him to be the third string quarterback on your team. It's a wasted pick. The Bears are trying to win a Super Bowl this year. That's why they traded for Nick Foles, who already won a Super Bowl. So I agree with you guys. I think they should wait till 2021 when they finally get a first-round pick. Okay, then you can take a quarterback. You got Minnesota's Tanner Morgan. You got Texas A&M's Kellen Mond may be available in the mid-late round next year. But this year, leave it alone. Take somebody in the second round that can help you win this upcoming season.
Absolutely. I don't think they should go for a quarterback. Ryan Pace has made a lot of trades in the drafts. Every year, he always makes a trade. And through those trades, we found ourselves with no third round, no fourth round, and now we're not. So we got 2 second rounds, and then the Bears don't have a pick until the 5th round. Dante, what's your thoughts on the Bears not picking from the second, getting 2 picks in the second round, then having to wait all the way into the 5th round to pick again?
Yeah, you know what? I think that it's actually not as bad as what we think it could be. With us making some moves in the offseason with a few trades. And then if we definitely hit on those 2 positions in the second round that we really need to hit on, then I don't think it would be that bad to wait again to the 5th round to get some more depth. When you get into those rounds anyway, you're just talking about more so depth players and special teams. But, knowing Ryan Pace, if it's a guy that's on the board that he really likes, he's gonna go ahead and move up and try to get him. One guy that I definitely would try to see them take is another strong safety. He is actually from Southern Illinois, so kind of like a hometown guy in that sense. He's 6'3", 221. Jeremy Chin, watched a lot of film on him. He's got a great NFL body already. He'll be a great complement to our free safety Eddie Jackson. So I don't know how long he's going to be on the board, but somebody like him, if they moved up to get him, I would be pleased with that.
The Bears do have a need, as I said earlier, as we all said, they definitely have a need at strong safety. So Eddie Jackson can go back to being Eddie Jackson, making the interceptions, being a playmaker that he is, being a Pro Bowl and all that, all pro player he is. Adi, what's your thoughts about the Bears not being able to pick to the 5th round?
Well, yeah, you know what? Jeremy Chin, you know what? He's a solid guy. I don't think he's going to last to the 5th round. If the Bears end up with Jeremy Chin, they're going to have to use a 2nd round pick on that dude. That guy is shooting up the draft boards. He's pretty solid. He loves to get in the box. He loves to be the 8th man in the box, get in there and tackle and everything like that. He's underrated because he went to Southern Illinois, not a real big school. But as far as the Bears picking in the 5th round, actually, surprisingly, Ryan Pace has been excellent picking players in the 5th round. In 2015, he picked Adrian Amos. 2016, Jordan Howard. 2018, he picked the star defensive lineman for the Bears, Bilal Nichols. The only guy that has been bad that he picked in the 5th round is offensive tackle Jordan Morgan from some little tiny school in Pennsylvania, okay? But now the Bears do have 2 6th round picks, and Ryan Pace has never found a hidden gem in the 6th round of a draft. And actually, the Bears haven't drafted a guy that ended up having a respectable career from the 6th round since 2005 when they took safety Chris Harris. All right, it's been a long time. So 6th round haven't been good.
Wow, that's a throwback right there.
Yeah, haven't been good for the Bears. We got 2 7th round picks though this year. We got 2 7th round picks. Javon Williams, we picked him in 2018. So I think he's going to be good, the wide receiver from Georgia. So that's the only guy that was good in the 7th round. But when you come in these late rounds of the draft, you try to find a guy that was injured, maybe slipped in the draft because of injury, or maybe he went to a small school, or maybe he was like Javon Williams and was good, but was on the bench because he was on a loaded team. So
got in trouble.
Yeah, or something, yeah, something like that. Got in trouble, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, smoke, whatever, what I'm saying, off the field problems made him slip in the draft, what I'm saying? So, we'll see if we can find a hidden gem.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll see. The 5th round, Brian Pace has made some moves in the 5th round. He has come up good in the 5th round, so we'll see. But, like you brought up a good point, Adi, with the 2 6th round picks, that gives Mr. Ryan Pace some ammunition to move up in the draft. And, that's what he's notorious for. I mean, I think he'd rather give up those 6th round picks. Hell, he might even give up the 5th round pick to get a guy he wants. So, Adi, do you think Ryan Pace is going to trade up again in this draft?
Okay, well, you know what? I think he is, man. Now, you just said trading the 5th round pick. Do not trade the 5th round pick. He always hit on the 5th round. So don't trade that, okay? He's been doing pretty good with that. But just to see Ryan Pace sit out the 3rd and the 4th round, just sitting there, not doing nothing, he's impatient, all right?
Yeah.
But I hope he don't, because in his career, he's traded 3 4th round picks, 2 3rd round picks, and a 2nd round pick to trade up and get guys like Leonard Floyd, David Montgomery, Anthony Miller, and Mitch Trubisky. It just ain't worth it, man. So I just want him to, if anything, trade down. He traded down and took Cody Whitehair before, in 2016. He ended up getting Nick Kwiatkowski, extra pick. So trade down.
Yeah. What you think, Dante? You think Ryan Pace is gonna trade up on this, or you think he's gonna stand pat and just pick what he's got?
It's gonna come down to who's on the board. If it's like a certain guy that they've been targeting, then they're definitely gonna move up. Like you said, maybe give away those 2 6th round picks and get a 3rd. If you really see the guy that you want. But like Adi was saying, I don't really think that is something that we necessarily have to do. That is like a sense of urgency that we should do just because we don't have the picks. But knowing Ryan Pace, He's probably got something up his sleeve. He's got a guy, like Tariq Cohen. I felt like, was a guy that went a little bit later in the draft that not too many people knew much about, but he ended up being a really explosive player. So he from a small school. So he's got somebody he's watching. So he's got somebody up his sleeve that he's looking at for. So
absolutely, absolutely. I think like Adi say also. Ryan Pace, I think he's trigger happy too. Like he gets antsy, he gets anxious, and he thinks somebody just gonna take the player, so he's gonna jump up. So it would not surprise me if he trades. If he thinks the player is good enough and he really wants him, it would not surprise me if he does it again, trades up. But I like your idea of trading down and getting more picks. I would not be mad at that. Mm-hmm. Let me ask y'all something. I'll start with you, Dante. What if they traded one of their second round picks and got a third and a fourth round for it? Would you be okay with that?
Not right now. I think with the 2 second round picks that we have, we got to hit Pater with those 2 picks. With the needs that we have, those 2 picks that's not too far away from each other. You gotta hit on what the team like needs right there with those 2 picks. So I wouldn't do anything with those second round picks at all. I wouldn't touch those 2 picks at all.
What about you, Adi? Would you?
Well, you know what? I agree, man. I don't think he should touch it, man. Number 43 and number 50, just you gotta hit with those picks, all right? Just he gotta hit. He did pretty good in 2015. He got Eddie Goldman in the second round. He got Cody Whitehair in the second round. After that, he kind of fell off with my man Adam Shaheen, okay, in the second round. That wasn't pretty good. Okay. Anthony Miller and James Daniels. The jury's still out on them, but he needs to really hit with both those picks this year in the second round.
Is there any way you're willing to trade? Would you trade both those? This is the last one, guy. Would one of you guys trade both those second round picks to get back in the first round?
No, I wouldn't. No, I you know what? I'm telling you this, man. Ryan Pace, every time he traded up in the draft, it's like he jinxed the player. It's like a curse. If Ryan Pace trade up and draft you, you're going to be a bust. So Ryan Pace, stop doing that to players. Stop trading up for these people because you're jinxing them. Leave them alone, man. Just pick them when they come to you.
Dante, would you do it?
You know what, man? It depends on what pick I can get. I don't really believe in the superstitions that that I just kind of banking on right now.
Yeah.
If it's a really good pick and you can get a solid corner that you think that can start right now, alongside Fuller, something like that, or an offensive lineman that you think is good enough to start right now, then go ahead, do it. I mean, but I don't know. I still don't want to touch those 2 second round picks, man. I don't know.
I wouldn't want to touch those second round picks, but I understand, but you got to look at it from a GM point of view. If you feel like that's your guy, and even though it turned out it wasn't the right guy with Mitch, but he felt that it was his guy, and he felt like that was going to be the franchise quarterback, he went after it. I mean, sometimes you have to do that. That's a lot of times how you find your franchise player. So if it's like a good player and he's projected to be multiple Pro Bowls, he's excellent. Sometimes you just do what you got to do. I mean, but in this draft, I'm with both of you guys. I feel like they should just keep those 2 second round, get 2 quality players, because second round is just a tad bit below the first round. So you're still going to get really, really good players. So I would say keep those second round. But if the guy is good enough, if you feel like the guy is a game changer and a franchise player and somebody you can have on your team a long time, hey, you do what you got to do.
Well, I will say this: Dante mentioned the cornerback a couple of times because obviously because we lost Prince Amukamara and everything like that. But I will say I don't think the Bears are going to take a cornerback high in the second round of the draft or trade up in the first round to get one because they did do a lot this offseason. You had Kevin Tolliver was the backup to Prince the last couple of years, and then you also they signed this guy from Canada. Trey Roberson. He was a Canadian Football League star. He's coming to the NFL trying to do his thing. And then they also signed a 2016 first-round pick from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Artie Burns, trying to resurrect his career with the Bears. So the Bears have done a lot this offseason to make up for Prince Amukamara by committee kind of a thing. So I would be surprised if they took a cornerback in the second round.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I appreciate it. You've been watching Spectator Sporting on Zoom. I want to thank my main man, Dante, for coming over here and talking about the Bears draft with us, man. Appreciate you very much.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, we would love to have you back again. I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing something after the draft, so maybe you can come back and talk with us then as well, too.
Yeah, most definitely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. All right, Adi, I'm Zach Roach. That's my main man, Adi Wally Apollo. This is Spectator Sporting. We out.